Finding a place these days, it's all about scrolling through endless listings online.
It's like a whole different ball game.
It is. It really is. And, think about it. Billions of people are looking at places on these platforms. Airbnb, Zoopla, Rightmove, you name it.
It's kind of crazy to think about, right?
It is. You're not just competing with other properties in your neighborhood anymore. You're up against, the entire world.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So just having a nice place isn't enough anymore.
Not at all. It's really all about how you present it online.
And I guess that's where these amazing photos come in, right?
We got it.
Those pictures that make every place look like $1 million?
Right. Those perfectly staged shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot more that goes into those than you might think.
Like what?
Well, first of all, you've got the photography itself.
Yeah.
It's not just about snapping a few pictures. It's about using the right angles, the right lenses to really capture the space in the best possible light.
So it's like an art form almost.
It is. It really is. A skilled photographer can make a huge difference.
I can imagine. And then there's all the editing that goes on behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, hours and hours of it.
Like what kind of stuff?
Well, think about it. Those tiny scuffs on the walls or the floors, they magically disappear.
Right.
And the shadows are perfectly balanced. And sometimes they even, digitally enhance the landscaping.
What do you mean?
Like, if the grass isn't looking quite lush enough, they can make it look like a golf course in the photos.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty amazing what they can do with editing these days.
It makes you wonder what else they're tweaking, right?
It does.
Yeah.
It raises some interesting questions about authenticity.
Right? Like how much is too much?
Exactly. You want the photos to look good, of course, but you also don't want to create a misleading impression.
Right. You don't want someone to show up and be like, wait a minute, this isn't what I saw online.
Exactly. You definitely want to avoid that.
So how do you find that balance?
Well, it starts with hiring a good photographer.
Okay.
Someone who understands real estate and knows how to showcase a property's strengths without resorting to trickery.
Right. So it's not just about making it look pretty. It's about showcasing the property authentically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want the photos to be true to the property while still highlighting its best features.
And then I guess you need a good editor too, right?
Of course. Someone who can enhance the photos without making them look fake.
Right. So basically you're looking for a photographer and an editor with magic touch, but not too much magic.
Exactly. You got it. You want them to make the property look its best, but still keep it real.
I like that. Keep it real.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's about finding that sweet spot where the photos are both beautiful and honest.
Yeah, and that's not all. You want them to tell a story, too.
A story.
Think about it. You're not just selling square footage. You're selling a lifestyle, a feeling.
I never thought about it that way.
It's true. You want people to look at those photos and imagine themselves living there.
So how do you create that emotional connection through photos?
That's where the art of visual storytelling comes in. For example, imagine a photo of a cozy living room, with a fireplace and a comfy armchair and a book lying open on the table.
Okay. Yeah, I can picture it.
You see what I mean? It's about creating a mood and atmosphere that draws people in and makes them feel like they could really live there.
It's like setting the stage for a perfect evening.
Exactly. And that's just one example. You can use photography to highlight the unique features of a property, showcase its connection to the neighborhood, or even hint at the kind of lifestyle that comes with it.
So it's like creating a mini movie trailer for the property.
You could say that. You're giving people a glimpse into the world they could be a part of if they lived there.
So you're not just selling a property, you're selling a dream, an experience.
Precisely. You're making people feel something, making them say, I could see myself living there.
Wow, that's powerful.
It really is. In today's world, first impressions are everything, and those photos are your first chance to make a good one.
That's so true. You really have to grab people's attention right from the start.
Absolutely. You want to make them stop scrolling and take a closer look.
And ultimately make them want to see more.
Exactly. You want them to be so intrigued that they can't resist clicking through to learn more.
I see what you mean. It's like those photos are the gateway to the whole experience.
They are, exactly.
If they don't grab you, you're probably just going to keep scrolling.
You got it. And this isn't just for people trying to rent out their places. This applies to anyone who wants to showcase their property online, whether they're selling or just sharing it with the world.
Oh, that's true. Think about all those travel bloggers and influencers showing off amazing Airbnbs.
Right. It's all about creating that wanderlust vibe.
Yeah. It makes you want to book a trip right away.
Exactly. And that's what's so interesting about this whole thing. In this digital age, we're all curators of our own visual stories.
I like that. We're all storytellers in a way.
Exactly. And that's where it gets even more interesting. We've talked about photography, but there's a whole other layer to this online presentation stuff that can really influence our decisions.
Ooh, well, Mom, all ears.
Well, think about virtual tours.
Okay.
It's one thing to see photos, but with a 3D scan, you can actually walk through the space virtually.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those. It's like being right there on the property.
Exactly. Some companies are even using fancy technology to create interactive floor plans where you can click on furniture and stuff.
Wow, that's wild. It's like a video game for real estate.
Pretty much. It really adds a whole new level of immersion. And then there's the way they write those property descriptions, Like a really well-written description can paint a picture in your mind and make you feel like you're already living there.
So it's not just about listing off the features. It's about creating a vibe.
Exactly. It's about using language that evokes emotions and makes people connect with the space.
Like instead of just saying spacious kitchen, they might say chef's kitchen, perfect for entertaining.
You got it. Or instead of saying quiet neighborhood, they might say tranquil oasis in the heart of the city.
Okay, I see the difference.
Yeah,
It's about making it sound aspirational.
precisely. And then there are the reviews.
Right. The all-important reviews.
People rely on those so much these days, especially for vacation rentals.
I know, I do. I always check the reviews before I book anything.
Right. It's like social proof, We're more likely to trust the opinions of other people who have actually stayed there.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the positive reviews either.
That's true. Even the negative reviews can be helpful.
Also.
Well, they can give you a more balanced perspective,
Ah.
They can point out potential downsides or things that might not be obvious from the photos and descriptions.
Right, so you don't go in with any unrealistic expectations.
Exactly. It's all about getting the full picture, warts and all.
But with the focus on the positive, of course.
Of course. You want to highlight the good stuff, but it's also important to be transparent and honest.
Makes sense. So we've got photography, virtual tours, descriptions, reviews.
Yeah.
What else is there? I feel like we're just scratching the surface of this digital marketing magic.
Oh, there's so much more. We could talk about this all day.
Uh-huh. I feel like I'm already overwhelmed.
I know, right?
Wow.
It's a lot to take in, but it's also fascinating stuff.
It is. It really is. And I think it's important for people to understand how all of this works,
I agree. Because it can really influence our decisions, even if we don't realize it.
That's so true. So
Yeah.
let's bring this back to our listener for a minute.
Okay.
They're probably thinking, okay, this is all very interesting, but how do I actually use this to my advantage?
Right. How do I make my property stand out online?
Exactly, because there's so much competition out there.
There is. It's a crowded market, but there are definitely things you can do to get noticed.
Okay, like what?
Well, first, you need to understand your audience.
What do you mean?
Like, who are you trying to reach? Are you targeting families, young professionals, retirees?
Right. Because different people are looking for different things.
Exactly. And once you know who your target audience is, you can tailor your online presentation to their specific needs and desires.
Okay, so if I'm trying to attract young professionals, I might want to highlight the property's proximity to public transportation in trendy cafes.
Exactly. And you might want to showcase features like a home office or a rooftop terrace perfect for after-work drinks.
Right, whereas if I'm targeting families, I might focus on the spacious backyard and the nearby parks and schools.
Precisely. It's all about knowing your audience and giving them what they want.
Makes sense. And I guess it's also about making your property stand out from the competition.
Absolutely. You need to find ways to differentiate yourself.
So how do you do that?
Well, it starts with identifying what makes your property unique.
Okay.
Like, do you have stunning views or a prime location or maybe some unique architectural details? Whatever it is you need to play that up in your online presentation.
So it's not just about listing features. It's about highlighting what makes your property special.
Exactly. You want people to see why your property is the best choice for them.
I like that. It's about finding that special something that sets you apart from the crowd.
And then you need to communicate that value proposition in a way that resonates with your target audience.
Right. So it all comes back to knowing your audience.
It does. It all starts there.
This is starting to make so much sense. It's like we've gone from taking simple property photos to crafting a whole marketing strategy.
It really is. And it's an ongoing process. You need to constantly adapt and evolve your strategy to stay ahead of the curve.
So it's not a one and done kind of thing.
Not at all. The digital landscape is constantly changing, so you need to stay informed about the latest trends and technologies.
That sounds like a lot to keep up with.
It can be, but it's also incredibly exciting. With the right approach, you can leverage the power of digital marketing to reach a wider audience, tell your property story, and achieve amazing results.
It's like we've unlocked a whole new level of real estate marketing.
Precisely. And it all starts with understanding how people think and what motivates them.
Right, you got to get inside their heads.
Exactly. You need to figure out what they're looking for and then show them how your property can fulfill their needs and desires.
This has been so insightful. I feel like I've learned so much about the art of digital storytelling and how it applies to the world of property.
I'm glad to hear that. And I hope our listener feels empowered to take their online property presentation to the next level.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
What?
what's one key takeaway you'd like our listener to remember?
I would say this, in the digital age, first impressions are everything. Make sure your online presentation is a true reflection of your property's unique character and appeal.
That's great advice. And remember, it's not just about aesthetics. It's about crafting a narrative that connects with people on an emotional level.
Exactly. Tell your property's story and let it shine.
Okay, folks.